Alright, so what's up, folks? Let me just make sure all this is working because I spent a lot of time trying to set this up. One of my capture cards went out, so let's just make sure it's all running good. Let's see. Restream is giving me some warnings. But it seems to be flowing all right here. Let's go ahead and check over here. Real quick here. Real quick like. Alright. So it seems like it's going. Let me know if there's an echo or anything like that. If audio is good, just post here on my Discord. Alright, so just kind of wanted to update you guys on what's been going on here. Hopefully if the stream doesn't mess up, I'll show you guys the latest version on Switch. I did some updates and had a buddy of mine, Ivan, who's actually from Sweden, of all places. I met him at GDC this year, actually, thanks to the Mega Booth. And this dude was awesome. He just kind of came up to the booth and you know, was just talking about stuff. We got to chatting about the leaderboards. The leaderboards were not fully implemented back then. And he was basically just helping me out with essentially just trying to figure out how leaderboards would work. So, you know, it's kind of... So at the time, leaderboards weren't working in the sense, well, they weren't posting to Steam, if I'm not mistaken. They weren't up there yet. But in the sense of breaking the leaderboard. So, for example, if you guys haven't been following on the updates on the Discord channel, I posted a challenge to anyone who is playing the game in early access. And I basically said, whoever can break the leaderboard, which means, for any of you who are familiar with like coding and stuff, anyone who can break the leaderboard is basically, the score is being held in what's called an integer. The integer can only hold so many, so much information, I guess, right? Like a certain amount of a number. So essentially it's about 2 billion points. So it's on the screen right now. It's actually 2,147,483,647. So what happens is if someone tries to reach that score and they pass it, what happens is it causes what's called like an overflow. So it'll basically wrap back around into the negative and then go back down, or up, I guess, I don't know, to 0. Then from 0, go back all the way up to, you know, the hundreds, thousands, millions, go back up. And it just keeps wrapping around. But it doesn't, that's not the way it's supposed to work. Because essentially, I honestly never thought someone would reach that score that quickly. And I basically found out the hard way that I'm not a programmer, like I've always said. So basically, I put up that challenge on the Discord, and essentially what happened is this dude, Ben, who's actually seen the game at a bunch of different events, he goes by the name Lieutenant Hummus on Twitter, actually, and his Steam page. His Steam username, and he actually broke the leaderboard. So in his honor, I've actually put his name in the game as like a placeholder. So like if the leaderboards aren't working or whatever, the score that you need to beat is on the bottom of the screen, and it's just, yeah, just in honor of that dude. But the other thing that he also got was an achievement in his name. So when the game is out, you know, whenever someone reaches that score, I still haven't decided what to name it yet, but it'll basically say something like, holy shit, you've beat Lieutenant Hummus, or whatever the hell. But again, so that kind of goes into the idea of achievements are basically going to be only on the Xbox One, Steam, and PS4 version. So the other thing that I kind of announced on the Discord is that so far, for right now, my current plans, due to the achievement system, or due to the lack of an achievement system on the Switch, I'm going to focus on the Switch version over everything. But at the same time, since development is, for lack of a better word, easier to implement on PC, anyone who has access to the Steam Early Access version is going to have the latest and updated version of the game. But the Switch version, there's eventually going to be like a cutoff point. So the game's going to have to be done, I guess, somewhat earlier. Again, because I don't have to focus on achievements, that's something I don't need to implement right away. So I can focus on basically getting the leaderboards working on the Nintendo Switch and optimization, I guess, making the game run really well. So let's go ahead and update this here, and I'll show you guys the latest updates. I changed the UI around for those of you guys who aren't familiar with it, what it looked like before. So the UI is a lot more what you would expect, I guess, in a video game. So the UI is, you know, the link on the left-hand side is obviously your link to the right side ship. But honestly, so again, kind of going back to the way the UI is read, to Lieutenant Hummus, actually, he streamed the game and used what's called a Tobii eye tracker. And the cool thing about the eye tracker is the Tobii eye tracker will essentially track your eyes, and on a PC it moves the mouse basically wherever you're looking at, and then you kind of there's a bunch of dumb stuff you can do, like you can kind of blink and it'll act as if it was the click on the mouse or whatever. But the neat thing is when someone's watching you, like on the computer, like it actually gives you feedback. So wherever you're looking, there's this kind of like reddish circle. If you guys have time and you even want to look at what that's like, you can go to the Discord and look up the video that he posted. Or actually just look up Lieutenant Hummus, a dual hand disaster on YouTube, and you can see it there. But it's really, really cool because the eye tracker, by watching him play it, I was able to see what he was really paying attention to. And the neat thing is, they would really pay attention to, obviously, the most important part of the game, which was the two ships, the score, and then enemies kind of flying around, right? So like the UI, it's not that the UI was worthless, it was just that the UI was there when you needed it, but when you didn't, yeah, there was really no need for all that stuff. So it kind of let me realize, granted that was one person, obviously there's a different people read the game different ways, which I wish everyone had a Tobii eye tracker, but that's just not possible. But so anyways, having him look around and do the things he did basically led me to say, you know what, the UI can just be set up however I want. And also just in the way of like however I would feel like I would read it. And everyone else is just going to adapt to it. And I could still tweak it and everything, but so essentially what I did was over here on the left, I threw in the link, yeah, long story just for this stupid thing, right? But so I basically like threw the link up to the left. The extraction is basically, you know, how often, every time you pick up a part, that's what leads to your extraction, which is how you keep your score, which is obviously the most important part of the game. So your score is still up in the center. It still shows you the destruction times material, because obviously that's the most important part of the game, is knowing what is making you, what is giving you your score, right? So you have your destruction on the left-hand side, because the whole purpose of the game is destroy the left, recover the right, and those two things together are what give you your score. So now you're going to have your destruction times your material, so your score is still on top. That's super important. Right underneath it, I don't know if you guys can even really see the details in terms of the screen and how to read it or whatever, but right now when I play it, you'll see more of the things that are happening here. But so yeah, your main score is right here, the wagers right here. Your wager is basically You can wager part of your score towards your new score when you start a new game, or you go to your next tier. That'll come into play right now, and I show you guys how the game works. For those of you who are familiar with it, you'll know what that is. So this is actually new, and this goes along, again, with the idea of breaking the leaderboards. So the Vortex Breaker, this is in honor of my buddy, his name is Ivan, but his handle or whatever is Vortex. I told him I would name the breaker, which is when you break the leaderboard, it's now called a Vortex Breaker, and so that's kind of listed up here on the top right, middle right anyway. And then obviously your weapons and stuff are on the left and the right, or your weapons are on the left, defenses are on the right. Again, all this stuff is stuff that people don't. They pay attention to it. It's not like they don't pay attention to it. But the basic idea is when you know what they are, there's no need to have all this text flying around the screen. You're already paying attention to so many different things at once that just having bright colors and kind of like signifying what's going on is really all that matters. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's start this up, and I'll show you guys how this is all working. Oh, one more thing. So this is the biggest and I think the most fucking awesome thing that I've added to the game so far is you can finally, you have in-game leaderboards. And again, this goes back to my buddy Ivan, who, again, he's from Sweden, so, like, our time zones are totally different, but it's fucking awesome that this dude is, like, helping me with all this stuff, because there is no fucking reason for this guy to help me whatsoever. I can't afford to pay him right now. He's just like, dude, your game is fucking awesome. I really want to help you, like, with whatever you have going on. I love shooters, and it was just awesome. So I gave him access to the source code. He basically wrote like the full like leaderboard implementation. All I asked him for was like, dude, can I get your opinion on how I'm doing my leaderboard or whatever? You know, maybe to him he was just kind of like, dude, this is terrible, let me just write you something. But he actually wasn't. He was super cool about it. But my point is, he wrote from scratch just after he came home from work one day. He wrote from scratch like a leaderboard code that basically is platform independent. So this code that he wrote is now going to work for me on PSN, Xbox Live, Switch, and Steam. All four of those platforms. That was code that probably would have taken me like another two months to finish. And you have to remember, I still have to do like settings and all sorts of other little things. Again, that's why I'm focusing on Switch, because Switch has way less of that kind of network kind of stuff I have to focus on. So let's go ahead and start this up so you guys can see all the work that's been put into it so far. And as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat there. I'm pretty sure I have all of my chats up, so okay, so here's the thing. Let me actually, there's no audio. Not like it really matters, but honestly, kind of does. Let me just change it here. Gonna have to close down Unity real quick. And all right. All right, this might be it. If it's not, well, whatever. Actually, let me just do this. For the hell of it. Okay. I'll just run it through the speakers here. There you go. Might not be the most ideal way to do this, but it's probably the easiest. Again, I kind of had to do this all super last minute because, yeah. Again, I kind of had to do this all. Yeah, there we go. So that's dumb. Oh, let's see. Okay. Let's start this back up. So hopefully it's not all echoey. All right. Yeah, having to set up all this stuff, you guys would not believe all this bullshit you have to go through. So yeah, let's start this up. Also, again, my buddy Ivan, who's been working on this kind of stuff, has actually, some of the stuff that he was working on, I couldn't actually pull into this build. So some of it isn't actually working the way it's supposed to. But all the work that I put in last night. So there you go. So the bottom of the screen shows you. So now every single time you start up a new game. Sorry, give me a sec. Okay. Every single time you start up a new game, it's going to show you the top leaderboard position across all leaderboards. So there's going to be, you know, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. But because of the breakers, there's also going to be a breaker leaderboard that will show up. If someone breaks the leaderboard, they're going to have their own kind of leaderboard to be on. So all those people that like get super high scores are going to have their own leaderboard position, which is super cool because then that means they have like even more of you know, more of a reason to be like, yeah, I'm, you know, badass or whatever. So anyway, and the Switch version has actually benefited from a lot of these changes too. So again, my buddy Ivan has helped me with a lot of the little things like just a lot of like draw call stuff. Sorry. Check something real quick. I'm using the mouse and I'm messing stuff up. Okay. Alright, so again, same thing is you just kind of come in here, start up the game, and the UI will now kick in when the game starts. So you can see up at the top left, I animated the link. So there's still some audio cues missing. So the link will have like a sound, like a kind of thing, because all that stuff is super cool. And the bottom of the screen will now show you, so right now it's only showing the very top score. Basically what my friend Ivan was working on was how to change the score based on what score you have. So every time you see, what you'll see down there is the next score that you want to beat. And that's kind of the idea of like having people just kind of jump in and be like, holy shit, okay, now I got to beat this guy's score. And then, you know, you beat that guy's score. And then finally you beat it, but now you see someone else's score, and it's kind of like, should I stay in and try to beat that guy's score up until you get to the very, you know, this highest score possible, and then you could either just lose it or keep that position. But yeah, like this is super getting there. But I still have plenty of things to do. Plenty of things left to do anyway. And you know, I've fixed a lot of these little animations, some bugs with these dudes that are following me here on the right. If any of you have joined who aren't really familiar with how the game plays, basically on the left-hand side is how you destroy the left to earn your points. You recover resources on the right to help you multiply those points. And these enemies on the right that are following me over here, those are the enemies that I'm letting pass on the left. So if I let those enemies pass me, then they're going to start following me on the right, and they will kill me almost instantly. So what I want to do is just stay away from them, and there's different things you can do to take advantage of them. So you can actually have them follow you into here. This is Disastrous Core. This is essentially kind of a safe space. But just like any safe space, you stay in there too long, you'll be crushed. So you don't want to stay in any safe space for too long. Safe spaces are there for a reason, but they're only meant for you to temporarily get out of any kind of mess that you're in. Learn from it, basically. So yeah, also like the link on the left hand side, every time you use your link, it's going down. So this is the thing, the walls are caving in, go to my safe space, blow off a BFP, push them away, I can still keep going. So the thing, obviously, if you do that, then you're obviously losing out on some parts. Oh, thanks, Rudy. Sorry, man, I actually just saw your comment there. Yeah, it's been upgraded a lot, man. It's a lot of visuals and stuff. Actually, since the last time you saw it, definitely, for sure. Because I think the last time you actually played it, I don't know, well, saw it, actually. I've done quite a couple things here. And most of it lends itself to basically like the frame rate, stuff like that. The console versions are still a little choppy, but again, my friend Ivan's been helping me with a lot of optimization, and there's some stuff I'm going to do. I could actually show you guys, which is super, super awesome in Unity. I honestly don't know how to how to actually read it. It's called a frame debugger. I don't know how to read it yet 100%, but I understand kind of what it's doing, and I kind of understand what it's trying to tell you to do, and it essentially shows you how the game is broken up. So whenever a camera renders a scene, it shows you exactly what it's drawing, how often it's drawing it, how many times it's calling particular, they're called draw calls, and those are the things I need to limit so that I can get the mobile, or not the mobile, the Switch version running like silky smooth, which is a definite goal. I don't want it to run like crap. Well, obviously, who would, right? But you'd be surprised. So actually, let me go ahead and show you guys this. It's really hard to talk and play at the same time. But, so on the right-hand side, I have a hold button now, which means I can now activate my shields on the right-hand side. So what I'm going to do is I basically hold down the X button on my Xbox controller. And now on the left-hand side, notice on the bottom on the screen I have on my ship, I have it 3 times. And basically what that is it's my multiplier on the left-hand side. So every point that I'm getting is being multiplied by 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, obviously. And on the right-hand side, now my shields are active. So notice it said no damage. I'm basically like able to fly around, so the walls are coming back in on me. Go to the center, blow off a BFP. Walls are gone. Let's start back up. So basically what I'm doing now is I can... Oh, I lost my shields. Fuck. Okay, so... activate my shields, I can actually boost through enemies, and I get 5 material for them, which is obviously, it's multiplying my score by 5, so that's super rad. It's something that you could super take advantage of, but also just by boosting around, you don't take damage at all, so I want you to be super scatterbrained and just flying around, being super careless, but still trying to pay as much attention to it as possible, and this is where you're going to earn some points, like super, super fast. You can also lose a ton of points because your negative points are also being multiplied. So you still want to pay attention. At the same time, you still want to be picking up what you need to pick up, because if you're not going to be able to leave. So in order to keep your score, you need to pick up parts, which are these orange markers on the ship, like this one. So whenever you pick up an orange part, it starts to fill up your extract in the top right corner of the screen. Oh, fuck, I don't have my shields. Activate them back up. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the music again. This is all super scatterbrained, but the music kicks up and it's all pumping, which is pretty rad. Come on. Okay, I lost him again. Bring him back up. Obviously, you can tell what side I'm paying attention to the most. Ah, okay, so I died. Let's see. Just making sure there's no questions in the chat. All right, let's go ahead and restart real quick. And I'll do one more run here. Let me actually take this out of my way because it's... Okay. Alright. Destroy the left to recover the right. And there's still some, obviously, like I said, some audio cues that are missing, but also some animations that are still not 100% happy with. But in order to get this game out on Switch by early next year, I'm gonna have to start locking stuff down. So the last thing I have planned in terms of just gameplay stuff is Tier 3. So Tier 3 is probably the part I'm having the most fun with right now, because it's it's a way for me to come up with a way to basically fuck with the player's game, right? So the screens will swap. For those of you who haven't seen it, the screens will swap. They'll go left and right. Your sticks will invert, so left is right, right is left. But all of that is tied into bonuses that you can get. And I'm having the most fun coming up with different things to do there. So right now there's about 9 different, they're called EVA control types. There's about 9 of those right now. And I want to add in 3 more. There's one that I'm going to throw in called Super Hot. That I'm hoping I can pull this one off, which is super cool. Super Hot is actually one of my favorite games. Basically, time only moves when you move. So, yeah, that's just a way for me to reference those dudes, because that game is super rad. The other one is I want to find. I'm going to do one called Rocket Man. Is on a suicide mission, which you'll only be able to shoot rockets, and that's the only way you'll be able to get points. The last one that I think I'm going to throw in is one called Mad Dog, and in Mad Dog you'll just be getting free points. So as long as you survive, and as a matter of fact, it's just like a freebie, because you'll just be able to take fireball hits, and yeah, it's a reference to my boy Jim Mattis, Mad Dog. He's pretty badass, so I thought that'd be a cool little reference there. Right now, the ones that are in there are, basic stuff that just kind of swaps your screens and stuff like that. Ice Cream Social will basically take some points away and stuff like that. Fuck. There go the walls. Okay, so I need to focus on getting out. I want to try and make it to Tier 3 at least in this run. I don't want to take too much time playing the game. Just kind of wanted to really update you guys on the UI and stuff. So I will be at XPO this weekend in Tulsa, which is a gaming event. It's its 2nd year running, so this is pretty rad. This was one of the first events I was actually invited out to. They actually covered my hotel and flight, so that is super awesome. So actually, this is new. The Extract Ready is now is less intrusive. It's not super like in your face kind of thing, but it's still trying to get your attention to let you know, hey, you can extract now. So as long as that's there, I can feel comfortable knowing that I can leave with my score from this point forward. But I obviously want to stay in because I've only got 12,000 points. And again, the bottom of the screen will show you what score you want to beat. So right now, I think there's a jump from someone who has a score of like 4,000 all the way up to like 50,000, and then the top score right now I think is like 2 million. So every time you beat a score, it's going to show you down there, who you're beating. You can toggle between your friends list or your or the global leaderboards, because there are people who only want to play against their friends, and there are people who actually want to just be the #1 spot across all the global leaderboards that are available. So, and this is the way to do it. So activate your shields. Also, your mission timer is on the right, the bottom right side, on top of the right next to where it says Director-in-Chief, and it lets you know how much time you're spending in the mission. So every 2.5 minutes, the walls will cave in on you. So that's something you can look down, and basically, if you know the walls are about to cave in, it's obviously recommended you haul ass to the safe space. And oh fuck! So I used my boost. Well, I didn't use it quick enough. So let's start this up. And you can go to your safe space and push the walls back. So I can extract now. Maybe I should. What do you guys think? Oh fuck, so there come the walls. I could extract if I wanted to, but I have plenty of parts, and parts are what you sacrifice to push the walls back, so you got to be real careful. You got to know that you have enough, otherwise you are just going to waste them, and you're not going to know when you're going to be able to leave. So yeah, those voids in the background, every time you shoot them with a missile, if your shields are active, your multiplier is active, it will automatically chain your multiplier. So the cool thing there is it's a really quick way. If you notice on the left hand side there's little pips underneath max. What that means is it's basically showing you how many enemies you've killed towards the multiplier. So when you see 2, that means 1 more will give you a multiplier. And you can also shoot those. And that's actually a bug I just saw. The lost multiplier tooltip is actually supposed to shoot up when it's at the bottom of the screen. Also, that's not a frame rate issue if you guys are noticing the game kind of slowing down and stuff. That's my danger sensor. So on the right hand side I actually have a danger sensor going on now. Fuck. And what that does is it'll slow down time if I'm about to take damage on the left hand side, so that I can actually use that to my advantage and look over to make sure I'm not going to die. So 4 million is not too bad. Let's go ahead and extract. Oh fuck. You can actually take damage while you're extracting, so you got to be real careful with that. So yeah, let's go ahead and extract. See if I could go to tier 2. And I'll show you guys the wager system. So yeah, so this is actually the leaderboards on the right hand side. I'm not connected to Steam right now, so they're just kind of placeholder. But right there is where it'll show you this is your position, you know, obviously leaderboards. So let's go to tier 2. And so here is where you wager the score you had on the last tier. You're going to wager that score towards a new tier, and you could do no wager, you could do shits and giggles, or you could do balls deep. And what happens now is, if whatever I wager, if I leave after I reach that score, I'll get that score on top of whatever score I left with. If I leave before I reach that wager, I'll get a penalty. And yeah, it's pretty harsh. So yeah, let's get out here. And every time, now tier 2, now there's heat-seeking fireballs. So you notice that dude's coming to hit me. However, if I keep him from hitting my ship, notice I have a kite bonus of 2,000. So that means any enemy that I'm killing on the left-hand side, I'm multiplying by 2,000. That's still also subject to change. But at the same time, that is how you earn some massive points on this tier. So I thought I fixed that. I don't know if you can notice how it's kind of chugging there, the fireball anyway. That was a bug I thought I fixed, which had to do with the velocity on the fireball. I think I can figure that one out. Notice, because these fireballs are going pretty smooth, it's only the ones that chase you, and that's probably just my dumbass coding something wrong. Oh, damn. Alright, so yeah, tier 2 is obviously a lot tougher. Okay, I lost that part. What you want to do in tier 2 is focus on getting parts over everything. Because parts are obviously what you need to leave the level. So as long as you have all of them ready, at least you know you can leave. You can just kind of circle that guy around, pick that one up. Oh, fuck. It's been super cool to also have like people on the Discord basically helping each other out, giving each other tips and stuff. That's been super awesome. Whoa. Alright, come on, parts, come on. So the fireball actually will not hit you. You can actually move really, really slow, and you can use that to your advantage. But yeah, I'm not going to deny it's a pain in the ass, but at the same time, the game wouldn't be fun if it was super easy. Let's make sure the walls go back. And let's see. Oh man, I still need a couple more. Keep it close, 20,000 points. I also am nowhere near my wager, but I can reach that pretty easily. It's just making sure I don't die. Oh, fuck. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Almost, almost. Oh, fuck, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay. I want to try and make it to tier 3. But I also want to try and make my... my wagers so that I don't... Holy shit. So yeah, that defense that I'm using there is the awareness engine, which lets me pull the camera back and get a bigger view, but it's still blurred, so you gotta be real careful. Oh shit. Whoa! Oh! Alright, almost, almost, almost. Come on, come on, come on. Oh! Alright, so, anyway. Those are the updates there. Let me actually show you guys basically how the frame debugger works. So, I'll restart the game here. And this will be the last update, I guess. Hey, what's up, man? I was just talking about you. So, Lieutenant Hummus is actually on the Twitch channel, because I'm using Restream, so I'm streaming over YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Mixer, all over the place. And I have all the chats up here, so if any of you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in. Anyway, so let's go ahead and pause the game here. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you guys the frame debugger, and this is what I'm talking about in the sense of how you can tell how many draw calls and stuff that you're using in the game. So this is the frame debugger. You basically enable it, and what this does is it's actually super amazing. You can actually go through. This is what the camera is drawing frame by frame. So this is, you could see it locates, it's drawing the shadows, and then it'll draw like a color pass, then it does a depth pass. So here's the thing. The game is being drawn in multiple passes, or not the game, but each individual ship is being drawn in chunks. And so the game is trying to draw this every frame. It's drawing that until it reaches that. So those are, yeah, that's a different camera there. There's some fire pits. It's drawing all of this stuff in one frame. This isn't even the game itself. This is just one camera so far. And I have all these draw calls here. So yeah, there you see. Let's see, it's drawing. So it's clearing the screen. And then it's starting in, this is what it draws, but then it starts to draw in each piece one by one. And then it starts to draw in the shadows, which you can't see because it's on the other camera. And then here it's... So this ship, which is a super small part of the game, is being drawn in like in 4 chunks. So it's drawing in the lights. Yeah, this is some optimization I can do right here for sure. But yeah, I could go on forever with trying to show you guys exactly what it's drawing here. It's pretty intense. So yeah, let's go ahead and cancel this out. And you might get a flicker here. I'm just going to show you guys the latest on the Switch version real quick. Yeah, nice, man. Yeah, so let me switch over cameras here. So I'm using an Live Gamer HD capture card, which is in 30 frames a second. It's really shitty. Let's see, you might get some flicker here. No, my screen will. Okay, cool. Again, yeah, I'm not sure if the audio... Let me try a refresh just in case. Okay. So, start this up. Did some optimizations. The Switch version has benefited from them tremendously, but again, doing a lot more of that kind of frame debugger stuff is what's going to let me figure out all those draw calls that are really slowing the game down. So here on the Switch version, this is really weird. It actually loads this like Unity kind of splash screen, and it loads the game in the background, which is the exact opposite of what it's supposed to do. On PC, it actually loads the game after it does the splash screen, which is really dumb. But anyway, so like this, you can kind of see in the TV screen, there's a camera that's drawing basically the ships in the game right now. And it's a little chuggy. It's actually gotten a lot better. It used to be like super chuggy. And that happened because I was drawing this whole scene right here. This title screen was being also drawn in chunks. And that big wall in the back was like, I think it was like 24 different pieces. And I basically brought it all down to just 2 meshes for the walls, a mesh for the floor. And then each one of these objects is a mesh instead of, you know, 24 meshes per these objects, which also was super expensive. But yeah, so let's start this up. So there you go, Ben. Your score is the honorary score when there are no leaderboards working, just so you know. Oh, so the quit option won't be in console versions. That's actually not supposed to be there, but you know, I'll fix that in time. There's no rush right now. And also, you have to remember, this is docked. Undocked, the frame rate is a little bit, you know, not necessarily where this version is, but even this version, actually, it's not too different from this. But yeah, docked, you obviously get a little more horsepower because the CPU and GPU aren't bottlenecked. And I'm actually using the Wii U Pro controller, which is actually a really nice controller. But yeah, I've got bloom effects working, I've got depth of field working really well. Yeah, it's just some optimization in terms of, you know, creating some simple meshes and not having so much stuff being drawn in. And I have to admit, like, this is what made me like the Switch so much, is that it's still, even with the little optimization I've done up to this point, it's holding up really well. So imagine, you know, once I actually put way more time into the optimization, it can only get better. So yeah, I mean, I'll just play up until I can cause some chaos, because that's where you notice the performance dips a bit. And again, it's hella more playable than it used to be. But just for the hell of it, try and speed this up a bit here. I've actually been meaning to throw in like a God mode so that I can at least just, for the sake of testing and stuff, right? Just kind of give myself all the material I need, all the power-ups I need and stuff like that. But yeah, these sticks on this Pro controller are actually really nice. They don't feel like the what do you call it? Like the Xbox ones Or even the DualShock 4s. Like, the DualShock 4 has some nice sticks, too. But yeah, for XP I was hoping to take this version with me, but it's still not... I might take it with me and just kind of show it off the side or whatever, if anyone asks. But it's not necessarily performing how I'd like it to. Again, still totally playable. Just not how I'd like it to be.
Repair successful. Material retrieved. Material retrieved.
Oh shit. Walls are coming in.
Material successful. Material retrieved. Material retrieved. Repair successful. Repair successful.
Okay, got extract ready.
Repair
Just need to upgrade my
successful.
weapons. Where's everything?
Material retrieved. Material retrieved. Material retrieved. Material retrieved.
Oh, also, yeah, I noticed there's a little bit of a lighting problem there with the left ship. The right ship also, they're a little dark. Might be a setting on the
Material retrieved.
lights for the ships, because I do light the ships to, you know, bring a little more attention to them, so right now they're a little dark. Okay, so let's start at the shields. Let's see how Chaos works. You'll notice the frame rates start to drop a bit here when it gets really, really crazy, but it's still
Material retrieved.
playable. Way more playable than it was when I first showed this not too long ago.
Material retrieved. Material retrieved.
Let's shoot this.
Material retrieved.
Okay, I got all my parts. Yeah, and again, that... Ugh. Damn, that was intense. So that frame rate, or that drop in like a performance thing, whatever, of course, isn't the frame rate, it's the danger sensor, which is, it's meant to slow down time.
Material retrieved. Material retrieved.
Go. Yeah, see, so it's performing pretty good, but could be a lot better. And for the helmet, let's extract. Ah, I just noticed that that extract shouldn't be showing up there like that, so that's a bug. Another bug I found there.
Lost multiplier.
Extract bar. Cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and sorry for the kind of shittily put together stream, but yeah, just had to update you guys on some of the UI stuff, and I'll be pushing this as soon as I can get the leaderboard thing, the in-game leaderboards working. But let's make sure wasn't missing out on anything. Okay, cool. So thank you guys for stopping by. Feel free to join the Discord and let your friends know if they want to check out the game. As always, feel free to send me any messages you want, any questions you have, and I'll be back soon to update you guys on any news. I actually do have a really big announcement, but I will post that as soon as I possibly can. For now, thank you guys for stopping by.